Okay, Stephanie, 7.3, numbers 41 through 47. Let's look at a few of these. There's what they've got. They want you to write an equation where this is the answer. So I'm assuming you watched the video and you kind of got an idea of what they're asking you to do. So all we have to do here is set these equal to 0. So we're going to subtract the square root of 7 for this one and get 0. And we're going to add the square root of 7 over here to get rid of it on the right-hand side and set that equal to 0. So we added square root of 7 and added square root of 7. And so those cancel and became 0, and we're left with x plus square root of 7. So now all we do is whatever we have equal to 0, we put in parentheses, and we, do the FOIL. So x times x is x squared. X times square root of 7 is x square root of 7. This one is negative x square root of 7. And then square root of 7 times square root of 7 is the square root of 49. So it's the negative square root of 7 times the positive square root of 7 gives you the square root of 49, negative square root of 49. These cancel. We have x squared minus the square root of 49, which is 7. And that's your answer for number 41. All right, let's jump to 43. So we do the same thing. We subtract 5i from both sides. And we get x minus 5i equals 0. We do the same thing over here, only we add 5i to both sides. And we have x plus 5i equals 0. And we take both parts that are added and we multiply them. And we FOIL x squared. And outside, inside, there's an x there. And then last, minus 25i squared. So those go away, and we're left with x squared minus 25. And remember, I squared is the same as negative 1. So we end up with x squared plus 25 for number 43. And let's jump to number 45. X equals 1 plus I, and x equals 1 minus I. Okay, I'm going to stop with this one. I'll let you do 47 by yourself because it's the exact same method as this one. So to get rid of the 1, we subtract 1 from both sides. To get rid of the I, we subtract I from both sides. So we have x minus 1 minus I equals, these all went away, 0. We do the same thing over here. X equals, subtract 1 from here. Let me start over here. Okay, we subtract 1, x minus I, or 1 equals negative I. We add I to both sides. And we have x minus I plus, sorry about that, x minus 1 plus I equals 0. Okay, so all we did is we took these two numbers here and moved them over by subtracting them. We took these and moved them over, and we ended up with this. Now we're going to put x minus 1 minus I, and we're going to multiply it by this. All right, so I'm going to use some different colors here to show what's going on. So I'm kind of doing the FOIL method. I'm going to multiply the x times each of these, and then I'll multiply this times each of these, and then I'll multiply this times each of these. So let's do the red first. So the red gives me x squared minus 1x plus xi. Then let's do the blue ones. Negative 1 times x. And then we've got negative 1 times negative 1. And then negative 1 times positive I. And then the green one, negative I times x is negative xi. Negative I times negative 1 is plus 1i. And negative I times a positive I is negative I squared. So let's start canceling at this point. So I use black to cancel. So let's see what I've got. I've got a positive xi there and a negative xi there. So those cancel each other out. I have a negative 1i here and a positive one here, so I can cancel those out. Okay, so I've got x squared minus 2x, because I'm combining these two, plus 1 minus I squared. Now, if you remember, I squared is the same as negative 1, so minus negative 1. So those will end up being pluses. So we get x squared minus 2x plus 2 for our answer. So if we were to factor this using the quadratic formula, we would get our original things up here, that answer and that answer. So we just went backwards, so hopefully that helps.